Kid running any percent one-hit KO Buster only. Good luck and have fun, Cool Kid.
Hey. Thank you. Just a moment. Wait, where? I have to bring this. Sorry. I'm ready in just a moment. Okay. Just gonna reset the game. Hey. My name's Cool Kid, and today I'll be playing Mega Man 1. But it'll be just like the normal Mega Man 1, except that, I only have 1 HP. And with me, I have my lovely friends and commentators, Blechy and Mithical9. They'll be doing the commentary for the entire run, and I'll try to just do my best to, not get hit.
Hey everybody, this is Blechy. I'm psyched to be here. This is going to be an awesome run.
Yeah, I'm Mithical9. I've been looking forward to this run. The whole marathon, I can't wait.
So cool. Do you want any? I guess we're good to go, guys, right?
Whenever you're ready, just
good
count
luck
us
on the
down.
run.
All right, thank you. So starting in 3, 2, 1, go.
Okay, this is Mega Man 1, but not like you've seen it before. Like Cool Kid said, he will be completing all stages, but with 2 big limitations. The first of which is that if you look in the upper left of his screen, you'll see he only starts with 1 HP. That means if he gets hit anywhere throughout the game, Mega Man will die, get sent back to the most recent checkpoint. So imagine all those times you're just like soaking up damage walking through the stage. Cool Kid cannot do that. No mistakes available. No wiggle room. Also, the second limitation is this is going to be Buster only. So even though he's going to be collecting kind of weapons from the bosses he'll be defeating, like you do in Mega Man games, he will not be able to use them, nor the magnet beam kind of utility item that he'll be picking up later. The exception for this is that there are a couple required spots where the game just requires you to use, say, the magnet beam or the Electman's weapon to move on. But other than that, those are the only places. Otherwise, it's Buster only.
We're having to platform a little bit on some of these Yoku blocks. Coming up are going to be the foot holders. These are these floating platforms, and it is totally random where they go. And so traversing them is extremely difficult sometimes. We'll see what kind of pattern Cool Kid gets here. Looks like, okay, starting low, that's good. We're going to be able to at least start jumping along on these platforms. You can see Cool Kid is flickering a little bit. He's pausing and unpausing the game. That just makes it a little more likely that Mega Man will not clip right through the platform. If it's moving upwards when you're landing on it, there's a small chance that can happen. So this little pause-unpause maneuver just slightly increases the chances that it won't happen. And then with a good luck at the end to lift him right up onto the ledge, that was basically exactly what you want.
Excellent. Good to see. On the next screen, we're going to be seeing the first Big Eye enemy. We'll be seeing these a bunch. They require 20 shots to kill. There are different ways you can deal with them, but yep, Cool Kid with his amazing mashing ability is able to take it down before that Big Eye gets very close at all.
Moving on to the boss fight against Iceman. This is one of the hardest probably the hardest robot master for a Buster-only run, and definitely this category. Cool Kid is going to have to jump in between Iceman shots while constantly firing. He's also going to want to make sure he places his shots high whenever Iceman's going to be up in the air to make sure he doesn't miss. And you can see, look how slowly that health bar ticks down. It takes a lot of shots to take down Iceman, so this fight goes on a while. He only needs to get, I think he's got it now. There it is.
Nice. Whew, that is such a spooky fight. He just has to really make such precise jumps between each of those. Now, the thing about this run is, because it's Buster only, we cannot use those weapons that Robot Masters give us when we beat them. So really, you can do the stages in any order. So Cool Kid chooses to do from most dangerous to least dangerous. Iceman was the most dangerous. Now we're coming up on Fireman. Immediately, we have these kind of turrets that Cool Kid's going to need to shoot down. You can see there are tons of bullets on screen. Fortunately, on the top of the screen, you can actually jump off the top of the screen, and when you're at the top of the screen, you're actually invulnerable. Otherwise, Cool Kid would have taken hits there and potentially died. Now, Cool Kid just needs to hope that these kind of small flame enemies move the way he wants, and yeah, he got decent luck.
Yeah, not bad. There are going to be some flame pillars in this stage. You can see them now. Normally you could freeze these with Iceman's weapon, but we are not allowed to use it in this category. So we have to get right in between these two pillars. It is very precise, but he lands it. And now we're going to have a zip coming up on the next screen. And it's a little bit mysterious, but basically you want to just jump from a certain height and land into this gap facing left. And then the game is going to try to eject us out of the wall backwards. If it works, sometimes it doesn't. There it goes. And backwards in this case, because we're facing left, is off to the right. So well done.
Yeah, there's another zip coming up on the next screen, which is very fortunate because there's this kind of flame tube you see. You can actually dodge the first one with a zip, but the second one you need to jump very accurately through. Let's see if you can get it. Oh, he takes the hit. That is one of the hardest parts of this run. It's really easy to die there. It's just so tricky. So we're gonna see that again. So again, there's gonna be that zip that he has to do to skip the first one, and even that is kind of tight because you actually need to do it quickly enough to make it through before the flames even come. And then we're gonna see a second chance at that second one. Let's see, he gets the zip. Oh, and he makes it through. I mean, that is so tight. So a death on that is absolutely excusable, and it gives us kind of an early window into showing you that, yeah, this is one-hit KO. Anything touches you, you're dead.
Including the Roomba of Doomba. Here it is. Look out.
Ooh.
Very dangerous. You must give it a wide berth. As we move on to the Fireman fight. Now, Fireman is impossible if you are not being careful about how you approach the fight. Cool Kid is going to make sure that he stays close to Fireman to manipulate his attacks to make sure he's only throwing out one wave of fire at a regular pattern, and he's just going to keep jumping over it, keep hitting Fireman. If he is too far away, Fireman's going to throw out an extra wave of fire. It's going to move at a different speed and be on a different timing and be basically impossible to dodge. You can see just how hard it is to dodge these ones on their own. So imagine if an extra fire wave came along. One more shot, there it is.
That's very nice. One of the hardest stages, but he makes it through. Yeah, so he is going kind of from most difficult to least difficult. Fireman being just so difficult, both the stage and the boss. Next up, we're gonna have Gutsman, which plagued me as a kid because of, you know, you get your first Mega Man game. You're so excited to play it. Maybe I'll start with Gutsman. I'll just do these, moving platforms. No big deal. But we're going to see them in a second here. You make it up to the moving platforms, and then I feel like as a kid, you just die over and over, and then you just set the game down until you want to try again next time. But fortunately for a speedrunner, it's not too bad. He's going to kind of be just watching that little left piece, making sure as soon as that left piece hits a frayed wire, it deactivates as a platform, and then, but he knows exactly what to do, no problem.
All right, moving along now. Coming up, there's going to be some Hammer Brother enemies. And they take 10 shots to kill. That's a lot of shots. So he's going to stay far away, bait one of their attacks far, then run under it, and hopefully kill him before another hammer comes out. See there, he was jumping left, assuming a hammer was going to come out. And that's the way you got to do it. You got to be a little bit safe and a little bit cautious, and he's through.
Yep. We're going to have another big eye enemy coming up. We, again, will have to kill this one. Again, it's 20 shots. He does not have too much room, a little bit less, I think, than Iceman. But, he's just short hopping, so he's giving Cool Kid really good luck there. And now he moves on to Gutsman, the boss fight.
Yeah, Gutsman, his whole thing is that whenever he stomps on the ground, he shakes the screen. And if Mega Man is standing on the ground when that happens, he will get stunned. And you do have a small chance to recover if it happens, but it's really scary. So you'd rather time your jumps to jump as soon as he lands and avoid getting stunned. So you can see every time Gutsman touches the floor, Cool Kid's gonna make sure that he jumps. Except Gutsman's approaching and taking away the space, actually, so this is getting a little scary. Okay, he is able to find that last hit. Nicely done.
Yeah, Gutsman made it up to that second level and then decided, no, I don't want to deal with you, you're spooky, and runs away. But it was too late, and Gutsman died. Really nice run by Cool Kid so far. Next, we're going to be moving into Elecman, who, it's kind of an interesting stage design. It's a very vertical stage with a lot of ladders. On the very first screen, we're going to see those Roomba enemies we've seen so far. The way they work is that when you're on their platform, they'll speed up. So you need to be a bit careful, but if you shoot them, you don't destroy them. You just kind of pause them for a moment, as Cool Kid did there. Shortly after that, there's going to be just a long ladder screen. Unfortunately, you cannot be just climbing the ladder all the way to the top, or else these enemies will shoot you first, so you have to just dispatch them pretty quickly.
Now, coming up later in this stage, there is a really big trick to collect the magnet beam, which we need to pick up for reasons that we can talk about later. Now, normally we would need to use Gutsman's super arm to remove the blocks in the way, but in the Buster only category, we can't use it. So we're gonna have to do a zip to pick it up from inside a wall. If Cool Kid steps too far out from that wall, he will soft lock the game, stuck forever inside the 2x2 cell that ever since Awesome Games Done Quick 2017, we now call ND Jail, until you reset the game. Now, it's going to start with a frame-perfect input to shoot and grab the ladder. This puts us into a special climbing state higher above the ladder and actually into the ceiling, and that lets us initiate the zip. So that's going to happen right here. We're going to go into the wall on the right. There it is. Edge out, grab the beam, get back in, and he's going to exit up top too for a nice, stylish finish.
Very nice. Not getting jailed today. The history of that glitch is actually pretty interesting. So Cypher, Mega Man 2 runner, was just practicing for his game. In the Woodman stage, he actually kind of glitched into, did that same ladder glitch that Cool Kid just did. And he and a couple other runners tried to kind of look into how that would apply for Mega Man 2. There were a couple tricks found in that game, but then Nuduo, who runs this game, realized that the two games have pretty similar physics engines. Maybe there's application for that here too. And he kind of messed around with it in Elecman, found that magnet beam skip we just saw, and from there, he actually, the entire route was redone. So it's interesting that this find from Mega Man 2 could lead to a total stage kind of rework for Mega Man 1. But now we just have this ladder climb before the big man, Elecman himself.
The big man. I don't know if he's deserving of such a title. He is probably one of the easiest Robot Master fights. It's going to look a little bit silly when Cool Kid does it, and he'll tell you that this is super easy. He's literally done this fight blindfolded before. But there is a window. There's a window on each one of these shots that he needs to hit, and if he doesn't, it could get really bad really quick. So here we go. You just face him and you shoot him, and he runs up and you shoot him, and he runs up and you shoot him, and it's this over and over again. You can see maybe that Elecman is raising his arms every time he gets close. This means he's just about to unleash electric death right in Cool Kid's face. He's just gonna blast it right there. So you're like just a moment away from getting killed throughout this entire fight. But as long as you're careful and as long as you maintain this rhythm for just a few more shots, there it is.
Very nice. He even did that, he tried to bring down the electric death, but he was already dead. So really, both with that fight and any others, it really is just always about making sure that boss is constantly taking damage. After a shot, they do become invulnerable for a bit, but as soon as they're vulnerable again, you just want to shoot them again. We're now moving into Cutman. Cutman, not too much risk of death in this stage, but it is all about kind of tying together all these small little time savers. Especially one example is at the end of this screen, Cool Kid's just going to kind of do a tight jump through this one tile wide, just jump right up there, and without needing to climb the ladder. So a bunch of those in a row can really save a lot of time. Another interesting thing you'll be seeing is that Cool Kid, anytime he's at the top of a ladder, he actually immediately jumps. And that is because there is this kind of movement acceleration in Mega Man, where if you just start moving from no speed, you will need to accelerate a bit. But if you jump, then you actually reach that top speed immediately. And now here come the Susies.
There's some randomness with how long they pause, so you have to be careful around the Susies.
These tight corridors are occupied by the Susies. In this next screen after this one, coolkid, you'll notice that there's no ceiling after the screen. Coolkid is actually able to do a ceiling wrap by just kind of jumping to the ceiling. It wraps him around to the bottom of the stage, and he's actually grabbed that ladder right there. It's kind of cool how there are these kind of tricks even when you're not able to access the magnet beam, which is so notorious for making this game such a glitched game. Taking out another Big Eye, then moving on to Cutman's Corridor.
Yeah, Cutman is a pretty straightforward boss fight. It just kind of naturally syncs up so that you're always able to land your shots on Cutman whenever those invincibility frames are up. And then in between, you're able to jump over the cutter that Cutman is throwing out. The main thing you want to keep in mind here is you don't want to get too close to Cutman. If you get too close, he's going to jump, and his jump is really random. It's going to change the arc of his projectile, and you lose control of the fight. And that's a good way to take a hit and die, but not this time. Perfectly under control.
Absolutely. Really solid Cutman fight. And actually now is going to be the last Robot Master stage. Unlike in the other games, Mega Man 1 only has 6 Robot Masters. It's going to be Bomb Man. It's honestly one of the easiest ones. So we'll just let you feast your eyes. Skybilz, now would be a great time for a couple of donations, please.
Sounds good, Blechy. Thank you. We have a $555 donation from Mr. Cab55 who says, "Let's go, cool kid." Thank you very much for your donation. We have $25 from Xandra who says, "Good morning, Mega Man. No better way to bust my morning blues than to watch these wild speedruns of my favorite fighting robot." We have $50 from Goldstorm who says, "Personally, I would have done this with full health and with the other weapons, but good luck nonetheless. Just don't get hit." Thank you very much, y'all, for your donations. Back to y'all.
So we have another screen coming up here. This is our first Sniper Joe. And this enemy usually, he kind of blocks himself, but so you have to wait for him to take him out. You can't jump over him or else he'll kind of chase you, but coolkid dispatches him very quickly. I've actually seen that take kind of 2 or 3 shield cycles before it goes off sometimes.
Yeah, some pretty
And
good
now,
luck there.
shortly coming up.
He's been training.
Yeah.
Sniper Joe's been training
Yes,
for so long.
So Sniper Joe has been watching Coolkid. Coolkid's going to be trying to avoid him the second go round, but Sniper Joe has learned a thing or two and will be doing a zip of his own to try and reach and dispatch Coolkid. So let's see. He's going to be coming up here. There he is. I think he's going to be trying to do the zip. Takes 3 jumps. Very precise here. He's trying to set it up. Sniper Joe gets the zip, moves to the right. Now, can he follow it up with a Coolkid quick kill? He's waiting patiently. Sniper Joe is waiting for Coolkid. He's not going to get the quick kill. Maybe the 3 cycle. Oh, but he's dead. That's it. Sorry, Sniper Joe. Maybe next time. Maybe next time.
And for now, Coolkid presses on into the Bomb Man fight, rather. This is a pretty tricky fight. Bomb Man likes to jump around a lot, especially if you're close, he will jump. And he can jump really far, he can jump not so far at all. His bombs take up a lot of space on the screen, so you're constantly retreating away from Bomb Man, and that means you need to be doing these little turnaround shots, flicking like sort of left and right on the D-pad, and they're really not so easy to do. But Coolkid is just, I've never seen him miss a single one of those shots. He's just so good.
There was a lot of adaptation needed there, I feel like, because Bomb Man was just hurling those bombs. I've seen Bomb Man also, when you get closer to him, he tends to jump around. But Coolkid adapted really well to what Bomb Man was giving him. Now, that was the last of the 6 Robot Master stages. We're on to the Wily stages. And the first screen here, we've seen those big eye enemies, which, just like anything else, will kill you in 1 hit. Coolkid, unlike other places, Coolkid will be needing to... He cannot just take them down with 20 shots because if he moves too far left, they will respawn. So he's actually going to be pause buffering a bit, waiting for that high jump. He gets it out of the first one. Let's see if he can get it in the second one. Again, he's pause buffering, waiting to see the height of these jumps. Waits for the tall one. There it is. Okay. And now the third one's a little different. He's going to be jumping down these stairs. He's hoping for a short jump, gets it, and now he can just progress normally. No problem at all.
He is going to have to cheat a little bit here, switching to the Thunder Beam to remove these blocks. He can't, however, switch to the Ice Weapon to freeze these pillars, so he has to make these jumps. Nicely done. And then coming up at the top of the ladder on this next screen, these flea enemies, we need them to give us a favorable pattern. If they jump long, which they do, they cover the ladder. They will actually drop down on top of you if you try to wait. So there's the good pattern. Gets on top safely and is able to move on.
Second try is not too bad. I'd say it's probably about a 50-50. A little bit more cheating there to get through the Electman blocks, but that's no problem. Now, unfortunately, on this next screen, it's one of the most dreaded in a speedrun. Again, these things are totally random, and you cannot control them. coolkid getting pretty good luck so far. He just needs to make it to this fourth one, then the final jump, and he makes it, no shot. Okay, excellent. I've seen like runners lose 2 minutes there. It can be really nasty, but he makes it through. He needs to do a couple magnet beam jumps, and just because it's absolutely required in order to progress. But he makes it past, and now he's on to the Yellow Devil fight, one of my most feared.
Yeah, the Yellow Devil is a recurring boss in the Mega Man franchise, and fans of the series know that he's usually pretty tough. coolkid is going to have to dodge each piece as it flies across, but the pattern is the same, and he's got it memorized, so he says this fight isn't too much of a problem, but it definitely, I think, is terrifying. On this first phase, he's going to get 5 hits. That is really good. You can only do that if the eye spawns low in this fight, which it did there. There are 2 low spawns where you can get a lot of hits. The highest one you actually can't hit at all. He's going to be able to get, let's see, I think 6 more. This has been a really good Yellow Devil fight so far. Something he's doing is he's using the pause button. While the game is paused, the timer that governs the invincibility frames on the Yellow Devil continues to tick down. Oh, not quite with the 3 cycle, unfortunately, on that high spawn. The 1 more cycle will absolutely do it. Unless we get that high spawn, nope, he's dead.
Oh, thankfully not. Yeah, the 3 cycle is the best you can do. It's very difficult, even if you do get solid luck, but thankfully coolkid did not get any top spawns, so it's still a very, like 4 cycle is, you're super thankful for that whenever you see it. In this next stage, we all know that refights are kind of a staple of Mega Man games, and we'll see a couple throughout this stage. So first up is going to be Cutman, who is largely the same as before. Again, just as a quick refresher, coolkid's going to be trying to time his jumps as well as his shots so that he's kind of synced up between making Cutman take damage and also avoiding those boomerangs. Fortunately, Cutman takes a lot of damage from the buster, so it does not take too many shots in order to take him out.
There it is, moving on through the next sequence. The little sections here between the refights are really quite small and short, so we're already on to the next refight. Electman is here, and it's a little bit different. You gotta jump over him first, but then as soon as you do, it's right back to the exact same kill as before. Pay attention to the shot that coolkid is firing. As long as it's inside the boss's hitbox when those invincibility frames run out, then he knows it's immediately going to get hit again. And so that's sort of the window he has to make sure that he keeps this loop going. Now, coming up in a little bit, we have a return of the Susies, and they're even more treacherous than before. In fact, since Mega Man can't shoot down with the Buster, they're basically impossible to deal with. So coolkid is going to do a zip out of bounds, drop past all of them, and then zip back inbounds. And along the way, the graphics are going to get a little weird, so it will be hard to tell, but he will actually have to do a frame-perfect left and jump input to wrap vertically around the screen and avoid some spikes that have been placed outside the level. I assume as decoration, but actually is a legitimate threat to kill us. It's not these ones. I'll point it out as it scrolls on screen. These spikes here. And he's safely across. Now exit at the bottom. There it is. Perfect.
All right, executes the zip, is able to get past all those Susies and goes straight into the clone fight. Now, this clone fight has kind of 2 variants. One which tends to jump towards you, but not always, and one which tends to jump away from you, but not always. We're hoping to see one that jumps away from you a lot of the time, or else coolkid will need to adapt. Let's see. We have one towards him, one away from him. It looks like this might be a good one. Oh, this is good. I think this is... it's like kind of 50-50 so far. It's hard to say. It may be a left jumper right here, but even if you just get a couple right jumps, it's really a good thing to see. coolkid may need to reset. Yeah, he needs to reset his position just once in order to continue, just because the clone got so close to him. But overall, this is a really good fight, I would say. Only needing to reset once is always a good thing to see.
Yeah.
Now, it's important, I think, here to note that in this one-hit KO Buster-only run, coolkid's only died once, aka he's only gotten hit once. That's absolutely crazy. Let's see how the rest of this run goes, but I bet he's pretty happy with this run so far. Now we're in Wily 3. The start of this is the scariest stage in the game. The start of this stage is pretty vertical. If you hit the select button at just the right time, you actually become invincible as you fall. So Cool Kid is going to be utilizing that 3 times in a row here. Let's see if we can get through the 3rd room, and he does. And he does.
So we are coming up on the boss of this stage, which is so difficult. Cool Kid thought it was actually impossible to complete under the Buster only 1-hit KO constraints until he developed the strategy that we're going to see now. There are 7 of these bubble machines that come out, and with the Buster they require many shots to kill, and they start to speed up every time you kill one. The first 4 or so are possible to kill reliably with good mashing, but after that they simply get too fast and require too many shots. So we'll see him adopt a specific strategy after that point. Here comes the first one, and you can kind of get a feel for how they move now. And also just get a look at how big they are, right? Like if you're on the ground and this one comes down like this, you can't jump over it. It's too big. You have to have another plan for if that happens, because your plan cannot be to just mash them down in the corner. It's not going to happen. So here we go, onto the box. Whoa, he's not on the box, but he got a lucky pattern, so he's able to recover. We need to get on that box, and we're going to... Whoa, no. Oh, that happens sometimes.
Yeah, so he'll need to try again. So what happened there, he did get kind of a lucky spawn, but because of that misplacement, he just was not ready for the 2 shots. I think he could have even dealt with the boss itself, but just those shots were very difficult. So again, first 4, not too bad. He's looking for those right spawns. He wants the right spawns. He's getting them, but only when they're easy. We want them when they're more difficult as well after the 4th. So that's the second of, I believe, 7 bubbles down. And then after the 4th one, he's going to start positioning himself. A lot of right spawns. Let's see if they keep up with the luck.
All right, here we go, onto the corner of the box. Pause buffering to see where it spawns. We really don't want to see a top spawn right now. This is the worst time to get it, and we do. So really tight jump over, nicely done. That's exactly how you want to handle the top spawn. Trying to get back to the corner. I think he's there in time. Yes, he is able to find it and jump over again. One more, onto the corner. And right spawn. This is perfect. This is the easiest one to deal with. Okay, he cut it a little bit close at the end, but he gets it.
They move so fast that it just requires such fast mashing, even if you get the luckiest spawn. But he executed it really well. That first set was very difficult to deal with, but then he made use of his excellent mashing and timing for the second one. We are now here in Wily 4, the final stage of the game, pretty short game. We're going to need to real quick just kind of use the Elect Man weapon again to make it through. There's no way to get past without that, either using that or the magnet beam. And then he just has to be careful of these turrets. He wants to go pretty fast here in order to make the elevator cycle. It's not too bad, but and he definitely seems to be going fast, well, more than fast enough, I think, in order to allow himself to make it in time. Kind of a dangerous jump there, but he should be able to make this faster cycle, no problem.
He's actually has time to mess around on the ladder a little bit. Here's that platform coming along, and jumping onto it's not too bad, but there's actually a jump back onto it right here that's a little bit tricky. Ooh, he's gonna go actually get this extra life. That is, I think he was on his last life actually, so just a little backup strat. As we get into the refights, we're hoping Bomb Man jumps long, and he does, so we get a free fight here. We get to just stand inside the capsule and give it to poor Bomb Man. That's that wrapped up. Moving on to the second refight. This is Fireman. Again, Fireman is a dangerous enemy. We need to stay close. Need to make sure we don't get any of those extra flame waves. And I want to remind you guys that if Cool Kid were to die, he would go all the way back to the start of the stage. He would have to do all of these refights again.
Yeah, and he has to keep that in mind heading into the most difficult refight here, Iceman. Same reason as before, he just needs to be making these careful jumps, gets hit by anything and he's dead, but he just is making these careful jumps. Again, 1 HP taking down per shot, so it takes a lot of shots on this particular boss. Iceman giving him a bit of space to work with. Gutsman 2 is pretty similar. The stage kind of like terrain is a little different, but he just does not want to get stunned. Anytime he gets stunned, I just get so scared. Gutsman really making it close, but gives him a bit of space at the end.
All right, and now we have a checkpoint 2 for the Wily fight. Should we need it? Maybe we won't. Probably, I think we won't as we head into the final boss fight. There are 2 phases here for the Wily machine. On the first phase, the shots are always going to arc towards you, so they are predictable. You can control where they go. Cool Kid's going to kind of weave in and out, move towards, and then kind of reset away. And this sort of pattern here. He's also going to be mindful of the transition to the next phase. He wants to make sure he's in a safe position when it happens because the shots will continue to move and he is going to be okay. I know it can be a little bit difficult to see the shots that are happening, but they are there, and so he's jumping in a rhythm to make sure that he is always safe when these shots come out. It is time as soon as that health bar ticks down all the way. Just a couple more shots. 3, 2, 1. There
That's
it is.
Time.
Wow.
All right, yeah, that was pretty fast. Nice.
That was
That's not too
incredible.
costly.
Really
Thank
nice
you.
run, Cool Kid. Yeah, the deaths weren't too bad at all.
So yeah, yeah, that's cool. A little bummed out that I died so early, but then the rest of them was really good. I didn't game over, so it's nice.
For sure.
Okay, yeah, that's only a minute slower than my fastest hitless run, so it's really good.
And Cool Kid, how does that compare with Buster only runs in general?
So my Buster only, well, compared to my very fastest Buster only time, it's about 3 minutes slower. But well, yeah. I mean, yeah.
Awesome.
I don't know what to say now. I haven't even planned any shoutouts or anything, but I just want to thank Blechy and Mythical, the great commentary, and yeah, thanks for having me. Thanks for letting me play this run. I didn't expect this. Expect to get to play this run, this category, but it's really cool. Yep.
One shout out we should just fit in is if you're wondering how Cool Kid did this, it was a Mega Man runner named Nissa, that's Nis3, who put this, this kind of ROM hack together. So he put that together, and that's how this is kind of a one-hit KO mode. So big shout outs to him for putting this together.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, hope you all enjoy that. And yeah, I put a very generous estimate for this because, well, I've had runs that very, I mean, yeah, well, index, well, that was fast. Okay, I kind of expected to die more, especially after the first step. So, all right.
Well, that's going to do it for the NES block, but the Mega Man block is going to continue on in just a little bit.
All right, let's hear it one more time for Cool Kid, Mythical, and Blechy. Thank you all so much for that lovely run of Mega Man 1. We very much appreciate that. And I did want to let all of y'all know we have met the Hades run, so there will be Hades. Thank you all so much for your support for Hades. We look very much forward to featuring that, and thank you so much for those donations, y'all. A really quick update on Tony Hawk as well. We were talking about the, I believe it was called like the good stuff mode, which or extra fun stuff. I love that name. We're currently $4,270 out of $5,000 for the Tony Hawk's Underground 2 extra fun stuff incentive. So please get those donations in if you all haven't already. We have a $500 donation from Roleplay who says, got to donate during one of my favorite blocks, fight on for everlasting peace and to end cancer. And with that, we will take a quick break, folks. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Awesome Games Done Quick 2021. We have $100 from Jonathan, going to say everything that's on everybody's minds right now. One hit KO. OMG. Couldn't agree more, Jonah. Thank you very much for your donation. But there is more Mega Man coming up, folks. So we will have an interview. We have Feasel interviewing Ahmad for Mega Man 11. Take it away.
Hello, everyone. I'm Feasel, and I'm here with Ahmad, the runner of Mega Man 11, the any percent no out of bounds normal category run coming up next. So thank you, Ahmad, for joining us today to talk.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
So let's talk a little bit about Mega Man 11, particularly in comparison to some of the other classic Mega Man games. How does this compare to like the 8-bit Mega Mans, for instance?
Well, first of all, it has a lot of inputs. So when you compare against, a classic NES controller, you have a couple of buttons there, but then, you have a full controller full of inputs like the PS5 controller I'm using. So not only that, it's very, very, very complicated when it comes to the speed run. So many like inputs are the first thing, but also super fast paced compared to even if you have slide in other classic Mega games, it's still so much more fast paced than the other ones.
So a lot more fast paced, and then the buttons. I think the buttons is interesting because you point out that the NES game only had the A and B button and select and
Right.
such, but in this you have like individual button mappings for all kinds of different actions. Is that how it works?
Yes, we have these the new mechanic called gear system. So we can use power gear and speed gear. Then we have individual buttons for rush coil and rush jet. You can even use individual button for sliding. I think that's in X game, for example. Then you can map weapons if you want to. That's not necessary. Then we have the weapon wheel, which obviously instantaneous weapon changing, and then rapid fire, of course. We can use auto fire in this game. That is fully accepted. And then normal fire, jump, and that's about it. There's so many buttons.
Yeah, so that is definitely interesting. Do you think that you have a very typical control scheme, or is there a typical control scheme, or do people kind of do their own thing?
They kind of do their own thing, to be honest. Every single runner has their own thing going on. Some people use keyboard. Keyboard actually gives a player a slight advantage in this game because you don't really do a lot of mistakes with your weapon swapping. With the analog stick, that might be a slight problem, but surprisingly enough, most of the top runners are using a controller, and yeah, seems like that's the way to go in this game as well.
So the route that you're using for this game, where did that route come from?
We're going to Impact Man first, just because of his weapon, the pile driver, and it is very essential weapon in the run. Basically, if you remember Mega Man X having the air dash, it's basically the same thing with an energy bar. So we need that for speed, and unlike in most Mega Man games, we don't stop to pick up drops. We actually want drops in this game to refill the energy of our pile driver weapon, so we can just go faster and faster.
Do you are you following the boss weakness order at all, or is that kind of irrelevant in this?
Yes and no. We don't start with the weakness order at first because Power Buster. If we use power gear and then we charge our Buster shot, Mega Man will fire a double Buster shot, and that is completely broken in this game. It deals so much damage, and you're going to see that in a lot of the boss fights, if not most of them.
Okay, so for the most part, you're not even really using the boss weakness weapons, just because that one weapon is so powerful.
Every now and then, yeah. There's at least one boss fight where we're going to use the weakness pretty much the entire fight, but others, there's going to be a little cameo of Power Buster shot every now and then.
So did you come up with any new strats, any contributions to this route?
Yes, I've been doing a lot of nothing overly super exciting. A couple of enemy kills here and there to squeeze in more drops, since we're really trying to get drops in this game. There is one specific trick at the end of Bounce Man, which I figured out a couple of months ago, and it is very exciting strat if I just manage to pull it off. It is quite the sight to hold on to.
How much risk would you say there is in the run, particularly in a marathon context?
A lot. One single death in this run can cost you over 30 seconds. So I'm going to play slightly safer in a couple of places. Only a couple though. Otherwise, the run is pretty much the same as you would attempt a normal PB. But yeah, deaths are super punishing in this game, and you want to avoid them as much as you can.
Yeah, big time loss, I can imagine.
Yeah.
What would you say is the most difficult part of the run for you?
It has to be the Bounce Man stage. It is extremely technical. Ironically, it's also my favorite stage because it's so overly technical, but
Yeah.
it is just really, really hard stage for anyone. Doesn't matter what rank you are on the leaderboards, you would still say it's Bounce Man.
So how long have you been running Mega Man 11?
A bit over a year now. I was watching Fastest CC grinding this game for the longest time. Not only on his Twitch channel, but also in SGDQ 2019, he was racing against QGT6. And from that moment forward, I knew I had to learn the game. Later that year, a friend of mine, Juan Rufio, by the way, shout outs to him. He gave me the game on Steam, and I played the game a couple of times casually. And then from that point forward, I just kind of started to learn the speed run, which took me, I'm not even going to lie, close to 100 hours to learn the game alone. That is the most time I've ever spent to learn anything when it
What
comes
were
to
you?
speed running.
Yeah, and you were running other Mega Man games before this, right?
Yes, mostly NES titles.
Mhm.
And since we have EverDrives and save states, we can quickly grind a room for a specific room, and obviously the learning process is so much faster in those games. But since we don't really have that kind of an option in 11, we can do time attacks, we can do boss practice, stuff like that. So the learning process can be slightly slower in 11 than other games.
Yeah, that's an interesting thing that we don't often take into account, that the tools that we use for learning these games are not the same from platform to platform. Yeah.
Right.
Okay, well, that's all the time that we have. I want to thank you very much for talking with us today.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Well, everyone, stick around. We've got Ahmad running Mega Man 11 coming up next.
We have $50 from Mad Mega, who says, super excited to see this awesome Mega Man block with Cool Kid, Ahmad, and Luis Miguel. Good luck to the runners.